Hello everyone, welcome back to the data science program. In this video we'll be discussing about how object they access attributes and methods. We'll be also discussing about the reference variable, and these topics are really important conceptual wise and for the object oriented programming. So I'll take you guys to the collab notebook and we'll discuss these topics one by one. We will see first how objects they access attributes and methods. So we have our Google Colab notebook here. The first topic we have how object access attributes and methods. For that we need class, and we have already studied about how to create class and what are the things required inside a class. So we have already covered that. So first we need a class, so you have to use the class keyword, and then you have to use the class name, which is going to be person in this case, and it should be in Pascal case, and you have to use this colon. And inside class there has to be a constructor. Without constructor you cannot create the class, so mandatorily you should have a constructor inside the class. So we'll be creating our constructor def or double underscore init double underscore, and inside this we'll have a self, and we have already discussed about this self, that this self is nothing but the object. We need this self because your methods and your attributes cannot interact with each other. So whenever a method tries to interact with the other method, they cannot do so. So we have to use this self. So we have this self, and apart from this self we have name underscore input, and then we have country underscore input we have. And then whenever we are creating the class, whenever we are creating the attributes, we have to create all those attributes inside the constructor only, and you cannot create the variables outside the constructor. So we will be creating the attributes here. So you have to use self dot name, and we will assign the value name underscore input. We will create one more attribute self dot country, and we will assign the value country underscore input. So we have our attributes, and apart from this we will create one more function, which is going to be the greet function def. We will create greet, and this greet will have a self, which is the object. So we have one more, and inside this we will have a condition. If self dot name equals to India, then we will print a sweet message, which is going to be namaste, and then followed by we will use this value self dot name. So, and apart from this we will have one more condition, which is the else condition. Inside this else condition we will print a small message. If the person is not from India, which means we will print a different message, and this time the message will start from hello, and followed by self dot name. So we have our class. Inside that class we have our constructor self. We have name underscore input. We have created the attributes, and inside the class we have one more method, which is the greet method. And always remember this thing, that whenever you are creating the class, the function inside the class is not known as the function, it's known as the method. So we have our method here, and we have a constructor. Inside the method we have a condition. If the person is from India, we will print namaste and his name, and otherwise if he is not from India, we will print a message hello and followed by his name. So we have, and then we will create the object of that class. We are creating the object p equals to the syntax for creating the object name is you have to use the object name equals to, and then followed by the class name. So the class name is person in Pascal case, and then you have to provide two arguments here. So the first argument is my name Vikash, and the second argument is going to be the country name. So it's going to be India. So if we execute, and if we execute, it will execute and it will not throw any error because we have written everything correctly here. So now we will see how object actually they access the attributes. So we have created the class, we have created the object, so and we have our object here. So if we do we have the object p. So if you do p dot and wait for a few seconds, so it will show you all the attributes and methods in a list. See, we have waited for a few seconds and it's showing us all the options available which an object can access. So this p can access name, greet and country. This name and country is the attribute which we have created inside the constructor, and this greet is the function, it's actually the method inside the class. So which means this p can access name. If I do p dot name, it will give the output as Vikash. If you give any other name according to your convenience, it will show you the output according to the input which you have provided. So I have provided Vikash as the input here. If you replace this Vikash with some other name, it will show you the other name as the output here. So this p can access name, which is the attribute. Similarly, this, if you okay, and internet is a bit slow, so if I do p dot and if you use the other attribute which is the country, have provided India as the country name, so it will show India as the output here. Similarly, you can do the object can access method. Just do p dot and wait for a few seconds, it will show you the methods as well. See, we are getting the greet option here. You have to use this opening and closing bracket, and then if you execute this code, we will get hello Vikash as the output. You can replace this is just a piece of code. You can give input, you can give different inputs here. So we are done with this topic, and now we will see how object access attribute which is not present, which we have not created. So let's say we are doing p dot gender, which we have not created. We have created name and country as the output as the attributes here. So if you do p dot gender, it will throw the error here. See, we are getting the error here. But what if we try to create the attribute from outside the class, and if we do p dot gender, and if we give the value as male, female, any gender or transgender, any input you can give. So let's say we are giving male as the input here. So if we are trying to create an attribute from outside the class, and if we try to execute, it will not throw any error here. So what does it mean? It means that you can actually create the attribute from outside the class. So we have done that, and now we will see reference variable. So I've written few points here, and we will discuss all these points one by one. So reference variables holds the object here. So reference variable holds the object. What does it mean? It means, see, here I've created the object p equals to person. So this p holds the object. This p is not the object here. This p holds the object, which means people sometimes they misunderstood this. They think this p is the object, but this p is not actually the object. If you go into the technicalities, this p is actually the reference variables because it holds the reference of this object. And what is this object? This object is this person. So this p is not actually the object, rather this is the reference variable. This holds the address of the object. So, and the second point says that we can create object without the reference variable as well. So let's we will see one example here. Let's say we are creating a class person only with a double n, and let's say we are creating we have to create a constructor firstly in it, and this will have a self, which is the object, and then this will have two variables, self dot name equals to, let's say the name is Rohit, and the other attribute is self dot gender. self dot gender equals to the value is male. So we have another class here, and okay, I have to use one more to remove this. See, we have one more class here. If we create the object of this class, let's say we are creating q equals to, and we are using the spelling, I have to correct this spelling first. Okay, q equals to first, and this should start from a cap, so to use cap. And if we do this, and if I execute, see, we have created, and now we will see the second topic. If we create the object without the reference variable, see here we have used the reference variable q, but we can create the object without using this reference variable as well. So I will simply copy this and I will paste it over here. And this time I will use one more n here, triple n. So this is a separate function only. And now I will create s equals to, and the class name is person with the triple n. So person with a triple n, and now see, here we have created, but here I will not provide the reference variable. I am directly creating the object here. See, I will simply create the object, and it will not throw the error. See, instead we are getting the output, and this is the address of that object. So basically we are not storing the the object address to a reference variable here. Instead, directly we have created the object here, and this is the address of that object. So we can do this. So we are done with the second point. We can create the object without the reference variable as well. So now we will see object can have multiple reference variable. So we have let's say we have created q here with a double n. So we will see, if we do s equals to q, and if we execute this code, it will execute. And now both, if we try to print the id, let's say we are printing the id of s, I'm printing the id of s, and if I'm printing the id of t, so s and q, we have two IDs here. We have already created the object reference variable q, and I have assigned this q value to this s, and I'm printing both the IDs. And you will see both have the same address, which means both are pointing to the same address. So you can have multiple reference variables. So we have created the object and we have stored the address inside q, and then we have created one more reference variable, and we have copied this q inside this s. So we can have multiple reference variable here. And now we will see, we will try to change the attribute with the help of the second object. So we have s and q, and okay, we have this. And now we will do we have s dot, first I will show you guys s dot name. It will show Rohit as the output. And if I do q dot name, it will show Rohit only as the output. See, we are getting, why? Because we have created another reference variable, and we have stored one reference variable inside the other reference variable. So both are pointing to the same memory address. So now we will try to change the attribute. We'll try to change one attribute with the help of the second object. So what I will do here is, I will do s dot name equals to, and this time I will provide the name Rudra instead of Rohit, and I will execute. See, it will execute, and now we have replaced s dot name equals to Rohit. Now I will do s dot name sorry, s dot name, and I will execute. See, it will show Rudra as the output. And now I will do q dot name, and we will get Rudra as the output. What does it mean? We have not done any changes to this q, we have done the changes to this s, but still this new updated name is reflected to this q. So you have to be ultra careful when you are doing changes to the attribute, because when you have multiple reference variable, if you do changes to a single reference variable, it will reflect in all the other reference variables. So we have two reference variable here, s and q, and we did changes to one reference variable and it got reflected in the other reference variable. So you have to be ultra careful, super careful with this. So with that, we have done with this class, and what and all topics we have touched. We have touched how objects can access attributes and methods, and then we have covered object accessing non-existent attribute, and then we have covered attribute creation from outside the class. Then we have studied about reference variable, and we have covered multiple reference variable and how to change attribute with the help of the second object. So we have done that, and with that we are done with this class, and in next class we'll be covering the other topics of object oriented programming. And I hope you guys liked it. Thank you for watching.